Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is our non-Messianic channel. It's our Sabbath class, July the 5th, 2023. And the topic inside the Sabbath class is do not have a haughty spirit. So we're gonna go in on that. It means a lot more than what we think. So I was gonna introduce this channel right here, which is a non-Messianic channel. It's a sister channel to our Prophets of Awakening. For those that don't know, we have received a strike on Prophets of Awakening, which is supposed to last for a week. So we came here to pass the time away until next week. Okay. This channel is we have videos on it just like on Prophets of Awakening. You can come and check out some of the videos here as well as on Prophets of Awakening and let the videos connect dots for you, bring you into the truth. And for those that like what they're hearing and receiving within these channels, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to it, and it'd be greatly appreciated. And for those that feel the need to support what's going on with Prophets of Awakening, you can see our cash app at the bottom of the screen. So this is a non-Messianic channel, and by that we mean that we're dealing with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh is the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books, which are the books of law, and instruction for us as Hebrew Israelites that was given to Moses by the Lord of Hosts. With that being said, I want to say shalom and welcome to this channel and welcome to the Sabbath class. We're going to do our normal, which is a moment of silence. We're going to do a Sabbath prayer, Psalms, do a little current events, some need to know information. And then we'll open it up for some questions or comments. And then we'll go into our topic for discussion, which is don't have a haughty spirit. Okay, so this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts and all that he's doing to bring about his prophesied deliverance of his people, which he prophesied long ago. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servants David and Solomon and Samuel and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in the rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad. For we know that you possess the power to turn us. But we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments and your testimonies and your statutes with all our heart and soul, to perform the words of this covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Again, hear our plea, hear and do, O Lord, and hide not thy face from us any longer, for we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna read the song right quick. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna read Psalm 33. It's a psalm praise the Lord for his creation. Rejoice in the Lord, O ye righteous. The praise is completely for praise is comely for the upright. Praise the Lord with the harp. Praise the Lord with the harp. Praise the Lord. Sing unto him with a pastry and the instrument of 10 strings. Sing unto him a new song. Play skillfully with a loud noise. For the word of the Lord is right, and all his works are done in truth. He loveth righteousness and judgment. The earth is full of the goodness of the Lord. by the word of the Lord were the heavens made, and all the hosts of them by the breath of his mouth. He gathered the waters of the sea together as a heap. He laid up the depths in the storehouses. Let all the earth fear the Lord. Let all the inhabitants of the Lord of the world stand in awe of him. For he spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. The Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of people of none effect. The counsel of the Lord standeth forever. The thoughts of his name to all generations. Blessed are the nations whose God is the Lord, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. The Lord looked from heaven, and he beholdeth all the sons of men. From the place of his habitation, he looked upon all the inhabitants of the earth. He fashioned their hearts alike. He considered all their works. There is no king save by the multitude of his host. A mighty man is not delivered by much strength. The horse is a vain thing for safety. Neither shall he deliver any by his great strength. Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope in his mercy, to deliver their souls from death and to keep them alive in famine. Our soul waiteth for the Lord. He is our help and our shield. For our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted in his holy name. Let thy mercy, O Lord, be upon us according to as we hope in thee. Okay, so I just read Psalms 33, praise for the Lord's creation. Any comments on that? Okay, so I just want to shine a light on one verse right quick. Okay, it says up here, it says in verse 7, it says, he gathered the waters of the sea together as a heap. He left upon the deep in storehouses. Let all the earth fear the Lord, and let all the inhabitants of the world stand in awe of him. For verse 9 is where I'm going. For he spake, and it was done. He commanded, and it stood fast. So what is he talking about when you read that? He said he spake, and then and it was done. He commanded. So he's talking to somebody. So he commanded. So let's look at that. Let's go back to Genesis. Okay, when you see exactly what he's talking about, go to verse 3, chapter Genesis 1 and 3. And God said, like he just said in the Psalms, God said, let there be light, and there was light. Then God saw that the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And then God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning was the first day. So he's commanding somebody. And when we understand the breakdown, the Lord of hosts is there. He said, make light. Then he made light. Then he examined it. Then he said it's good. So he commanded he got 7 angels he created, when you understand the book of Eden. And he commanded them, in this particular Michael, which is the spirit, creation spirit, that he commanded him to do this and do that. And when he do it, he observed it, and then he say it's good. So let's go to another one. It says, and God said, let the earth, verse 24, let the earth, and God said, he's talking to somebody, let the earth bring forth living creatures after their kind, cattle, creeping things, beasts of the earth after their kind, and it was so. And then it says, and God made the beasts of the field. So he commanded up here, and then whoever this is talking to did it, right? And we see that all through the 7 days. In verse 20, God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life, and the fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament. Then, and he created. That's his Lord holding Michael's name. He who creates. He who's like Yahweh. So we see it's more than just one being there. And then, like I said, when you read the Psalm, we reading over it. So it simply says, he spake and he commanded. So you can't command somebody else. Somebody else got to be there. Where you be commanded. Okay. So yeah. So with that being said, any comments on that? Okay.
Shalom.
Okay.
Good morning. Yes, that brings a good visual to what is being said because um, we thinking he was all alone, the creator was all alone, but creator wasn't. So by having that, speaking that way, it gives us a visual that once we start reading into Genesis, we're not just having one creator doing something.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That has to be understood in order to go forward and trying to understand his word and understand uh, past events. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna do some current events.
Hello and welcome back to the channel. So, here's some interesting news. Apparently, WHO admits to excess deaths worldwide. WHO stands for World Health Organization. So they are admitting to excess deaths worldwide. Excess deaths mean that they take a tally of the average deaths every year and it stays around a certain point, right? But in recent years, in the past 2 to 3 years, there have been excess deaths recorded above and beyond what they are used to reporting. Some reports are saying in various regions of the world there is an increase of 30 to 40% in death rates. That's staggering. That's frightening. That's prophecy. That's the part I want you all to get more than anything, that it is biblical prophecy. And biblical prophecy is very frightening. It is. And so with this kind of information out there, you would think that the world would be headed towards repentance, but it was also prophesied that the world would not repent. Even with all of this happening, all this truth coming forward, the Most High just really showing up and showing out in the world, vials pouring out from heaven, all of this stuff happening. People are still not repenting. They are still continuing in their sins, so grace may abound. I'm not talking about something that you did 10, 20, 30 years ago. I'm talking about right now, people are still like, hey, I'm living my life, and they don't care. As a matter of fact, they are rewriting the script. Now they're making the scripture sound as if you can do whatever you want because there is a loving God above that is going to just simply ignore it. Because he loves us so much, he's going to ignore what we are doing and just allow it. And still crack open the sky, whisk us all away in the nick of time and take us to heaven. And we never once repented. That's what a lot of people have in their minds. And to that I say,
Okay. So what we see right here is that this World Health Organization admitting that it's a bunch of people out of the normal that's dying all over the planet. And so that in itself let you know it's a dead cat on the line somewhere because what's causing it. Okay. So with that being said, we're gonna move on to this next one. I think this is some pretty good information right here.
Where the Trudeau government is pushing the LGBTQ plus LTY agenda in the nation's school system. If you're enrolling your children right now in preschool or kindergarten, you'll be told, hey, they won't be addressed as he or she. That's something the school systems are doing. Parents are being notified of this. They won't be given them biological pronouns. The kids will instead need to eventually decide what they will be called, despite what the parents want. Yes, this is happening in Canada. The most vocal critics of Trudeau's policies in Canada are coming largely from the Muslim population, telling Trudeau to keep your ideology away from our children. Protests have been erupting across Canada, and now Muslim activists are joining together with Christians in order to stage a 1 million-person march across Canada in September, calling on people of all faiths to come out and denounce this gender ideology in schools. David Creighton has been writing about this at the Post Millennial and joins us now. And David, you just had a really fascinating interview with the organizer of this 1 million-person march. This is Kamel El-Sheikh, who's organizing this, trying to bring together all faiths to march on the Trudeau government and say enough is enough. What did you find?
Well, I was fascinated because I looked up Kamel El-Sheikh after I discovered he was the motivator, the chief motivator behind all of these protests that we've been experiencing here in Ottawa. And they've been massive protests. And he has been coordinating with other Muslims across Canada, primarily in Calgary and the Maritimes. So when he told me about this 1 million-person march, I first thought, well, you know, that's optimistic because a lot of people talk about these 1 million-man or 1 million-person marches. But when he told me the network he has created, that this isn't just going to be Ottawa, it's going to be from coast to coast, I think this is a realizable objective. And, you know, the question I first asked when Muslims started taking to the streets and literally had children were stomping on the gay pride flag, I said, this is a real conundrum for the Trudeau government and for Justin Trudeau, because he always talks about Islamophobia and he talks about transphobia. So which phobia is going to trump the other? Clearly, homophobia is trumping Islamophobia and transphobia is trumping Islamophobia. But that's what happens when you have a country that is no longer subject just to the rule of law, but to identity politics.
So in your interview with El-Sheikh, he was specifically talking about this agenda being foisted on children. And I think he even shared photographs with you showing some of these school pamphlets that are being handed out to children. Can you talk about that? What does it say?
Yeah, that's the first time I think we've publicly released some of this literature. And he sent me these screenshots that he had taken of the pamphlets that are being given to Muslim children. So it not only proves that the education system is targeting Muslim children, it shows that they're trying to demonstrate, which whatever means possible, that there's somehow a correlation between being a Muslim and being a member of the LGBT community. And clearly there is a contradiction there with the Quran as there is with the Bible. And the Muslims are saying that stop pretending that this should all be self-evident to children, and stop indoctrinating our children into ideas and theology, really. This is ideology and theology that is contrary to basic Muslim beliefs. And I think it's interesting that the Muslims have finally had enough of this. And in this country, we've not seen the pushback from evangelical Christians and conservative Catholics over this. But I think the movement that Camille has begun here is going to bring a religious unity to Canada that we've never seen before. It's going to unite Protestants, evangelicals, Roman Catholics, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, all of which are beginning to say there's something wrong with children being forced to be indoctrinated into this ideology. And I think this is where this is going. I think it's going to be a beautiful outcome of unity amongst all faiths and races.
I would love that. I absolutely hope that Canada leads the charge on this. That would be amazing. One of the things that El-Sheikh told you in your interview, he talked about the school system, and he was curious so why the Trudeau government is so obsessed with teaching sexuality to children and basically lying to these children and not even focusing on education. They're more concerned with sort of handing out these sexualized pamphlets to children. Even handing out one pamphlet says, "Can I still be a Muslim if I'm queer?" And we've seen some of the horrible books that are being also put inside of Canadian schools as well with the imagery, and it's shocking stuff.
Well, if this was a heterosexual movement pushing pornography in the schools, it would never have gotten off the ground. But somehow this is allowable if it's all under the banner of the LGBTQ plus movement. And some of the material that children are being exposed to is just so vile. And yet we don't seem to be able to teach children how to read or write or add. And the school system in Canada is as bad as I read about the school system in the United States, because they're so obsessed with teaching children how to masturbate and how to view sexually explicit materials that they've forgotten what the purpose of education is. And this is a tragedy. And it's a tragedy foremost for the children in Canada who are being denied a proper and basic education and being exposed to things that at one time you couldn't find on the street, but they're being digested in the classroom. And this really is a travesty. And thank God there's enough concerned parents out there who say we need to save our children and save their minds from this indoctrination, change their sex. And this is absolutely outrageous. They can be chemically castrated without even telling their parents that this process is beginning. And this is outrageous. And if Christians aren't upset about this, if they haven't said, you know, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore, I don't know what's wrong with them, because it's time for parents to say, we're losing a generation of children to a liberal ideology that is toxic and that is literally destroying children's lives. You can't make decisions on your gender at 12 years old because it's so consequential. It is so long-term and it's devastating. And we should not be allowing this to happen, at least without parental consent or knowledge. And this is the nanny state gone mad. We have Trudeau saying the state has a right to make these decisions on behalf of your children. The children don't need to talk to their parents because as long as the teachers are aware of it, it's okay.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody heard anything about it? Yeah. So, like I was saying before, with the, you know, some people might not know about it or aware of it, but a few years back they had this big old, we call it the Arab Spring, that went across went across the Muslim world. All these countries started tumbling. It was right after they massacred Gaddafi. And so you say, well, what you're talking about? They have people don't believe it, but they have the technology to you know, create hurricanes. They have the technology to bring rain. You know, all this rain that's coming from out, this cloud seeding and all that. Well, they also have this. They have the technology is working through frequencies. You know, tied to the harps I was telling you about. It's HAARP, harps. You can Google it. But they are satellites that's placed in different parts of in the space that, you know, is looking down on Earth. They can radiate beams down to the Earth. That's what caused the earthquakes, that's what caused the hurricanes. And they also have the ability to create chaos. They can focus that beam to a certain area. So that's what happened with Arab Spring. They rearranged the Middle East when all these protests broke out in all these countries, and kingdoms fell, rulers was uprooted, and all that. We see the same thing starting in Africa. They're doing the same thing in Africa, and if you notice what this guy was saying, they're starting a 1 million man protest in Canada, and then the guy that's orchestrating it said he wanted to people looking at it that he's just going to only do it in Canada, but it's way bigger than that. He said it's going to be from coast to coast, from one end of the earth to the other. So you say, what are you talking about? They have to first create the buzz, or, you know, they got to start it up. They got to get the, like when you're dealing with a hurricane, the water got to be warm. The hotter the water, the more intense the hurricane gonna get. So that's what the harps does. They shoot the beam down in the water. and it heats the water up in front of the hurricane. The hurricane got on its own, which is a normal coincidence. Certain times of the year, it's already going, a tropical system going to start, but they going to shoot this beam in front of it and heat the water up and then make it do more than what it's going to do. It creates. So it's the same thing with this. The hatred or the turmoil got to start. They got to get it started first. Then they put this beam on it, and then people go bonkers. So this LGBT thing, they know is a catalyst that people got a problem with. So when you're looking at something that's happening in Canada, no, they got bigger plans. It's gonna start in Canada. It's just manifesting in Canada. But when they finish with it, it's gonna be chaos all over the world. That's what they want. So these are the things, when you understand all that, that's coming. Right? And so that's part of, like I said, you got the real true Israelites, true Israel, and you got a fake Israel. You got a true prophesied end time, then you got a prophesied end time that they concocted. And they're using their technology to try to bring about the end time that they didn't prophesy. You have to understand that. And that's what's going on. Everybody getting caught up with the bullshit that they talking about and prophecies that they didn't set up in place. You have to understand that in order to get into the know and get into the meat of what's really going on now. So they just Nigeria, like we talked about last night on Clubhouse, that's the foundation to generate the drama. Then they come in with their technology and enhance it. And then before you know it, you got a full-blown chaos all over the place. So, like I said, keep your eyes on that. Incoming. Okay. Let me play this right here. I thought it was pretty interesting. It's got to do with something as simple as Africa's ancient name. So we know about Israel, which nobody want to deal with. It says, in that he's going to, out of Bethlehem. Let's read it. Micah says, let me get it. Okay. 1 minute. Says Micah chapter 5. It says, everybody waiting on a deliverer to come from Bethlehem, right? It says, now gather thyself in truth, O daughter of truth. He hath laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon his cheeks. Then verse 2, but thou, Bethlehem, Euphrates, right? 2 Bethlehem, like I just told you. It's 2 end times. It's 2 Bethlehem, 2 locations. One of them wicked. This is the one where David came from right here. But thou, O Bethlehem, Euphrates, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me to be ruler in Israel. Then it don't stop there. Whose goings forth have been from old. That's David. So right here, in this little video I'm getting ready to show you, it's the ancient name. The ancient name of the continent of Africa, which tells you a whole lot. Back then, the name was more important. Whether it was a person or a place, the name told the story. So they want to give us ancient names of Africa, or their land.
Africa was not always known as Africa. What was the original name of this beautiful continent? So today, we are going to learn the ancient name and why it was changed to the present one. Africa is home to 54 countries, full of diverse cultures and over 2,000 languages. The current population of Africa is estimated to be 1.46 billion people based on the latest United Nations estimates. The term Africa was first initiated by the Europeans and came to use through the Roman conquests between 264
Gentile.
BC and 146 BC, led by Publius Cornelius Scipio and the people of Carthage, which is presently known as Tunisia. The word Africa was derived both from Greek and Roman origin, with the word frike, meaning cold and horror, and the Latin Africa, meaning sunny. So, what was the original name of this beautiful continent, and why it was changed to the present one? The ancient name of Africa was Alkebulan, meaning the mother of mankind, or mother of nations, and also Garden of Eden. It also meant the land of dark skins, or black continent. The word Africa became widely known in the late 15th to the 17th century during the era of colonialism, in which many European nations took over many of its kingdoms and took many people as slaves from the land. However, the word Alkebulan was not the only name in use for the continent. There were many others used throughout history by the indigenous people living there, including Ethiopia, Libya, Corfu, Ortygia, Kingdom in the Sky, and land of Kush, or Kesh. It has been speculated by most schools of thought that changing the name from Alkebulan to Africa was an attempt by Western powers to erase Black history and detach them from their culture and language. The name Africa became widely accepted to refer to the continent populated by Black people. It is widely agreed that the 18th century theory, which stated that as Latin became more popular than other languages, Afri, which in Latin translates to mean people in northern part of the continent, was adopted, and adding the suffix Ika, which means land, to the word, the name Africa was hatched and adopted to indicate the area occupied by Black people. If this video was of interest to you, please give it a thumbs up and comment.
Okay, any comments on that? Yeah, so that word, guy, he said the ancient name of Africa was Akubulan, right? Which means the mother of all lands, right? So let's look at that. When I heard that, it dawned on me. So that's the ancient name. And like I was saying, you start talking about Atlantis and all that. Where else is gonna be at but on the continent of Africa? But so let's look at this right here. Let's look at what they did in the King James in the beginning of the scriptures. I told you that the woman, they want to say wisdom is the woman, but the earth has a soul. Just like when he created man, he created the men, but he formed the man too. He formed the earth with his hands. So when he the things that he formed with his hand is personal to him. So we see that he placed the soul in Adam. He was laying there after he formed him. Then he said he breathed the breath of life into him, put a soul in him. Well, it's the same thing with the earth. After he formed the earth, then he breathed the breath of life into the earth. So that's the woman, not wisdom. That's the woman. So let's look at that. It's something to let, something to let it permeate. So it says, check it out. And this will make a whole lot more sense than what they gave us. It says, let me get it. Says, this is after Adam and Eve had sinned. I'm going to start at verse 14. Chapter 3 says, and the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, right? And between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel, right? Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband. He shall rule over thee. And unto the Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed be the ground. Cursed be the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shall thou eat all the days of thy life. Thorns and thistles, back to the ground, right? thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herbs of the field. And then in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread till thou return to the ground. For out of it, yeah, out of it was, for out of it was, was thou taken, and for dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt be returned. So we know Adam ain't come to no woman through no umbilical cord and through the womb of the woman. He came from the earth. The earth brought him forth. And so notice that he punished the earth because of what they done. But look at verse 20. And Adam called the woman Eve, right? And then it says, because she's the mother of all living. See that? So when you go back to look at the name, Covenant, who would be the mother of all living? Would it be Eve or would it be a Covenant? See, then under Adam also, into his wife, did the Lord God make her. So anyway, so it just dawned on me when I heard that. So you say, what you talking about? So I go to, it's just like I said, something to let firmate. So you go to Isaiah 66, where I go all the time, and this haven't happened yet. So Zion's future hope. Thus says the Lord, the heavens is my throne, the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye built under me? And where is the place? Isaiah 66, starting at verse 1. I'm in verse 2 now. For all those things have mine hands made. Yeah, there you go again. Formed. And all those things have been, says the Lord. But to this man will I look, even him that poor and of a contrite spirit, and tremble at my word. He that killeth an ox is as though he slew a man. He that sacrificed a lamb as if he cut off a dog's neck. And he that offered oblations as if he offered swine's blood. He that burneth incense as if he blessed an idol. Yea, they have chosen their own ways, and their soul life in their abominations. I also will choose their delusions and bring their fears upon them, because when I called, none did answer. When I spake, they did not hear. But they did evil before my eyes, and chose that which I delighted not. And here we go. Hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word. Your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, and said, let the Lord be glorified, but he shall appear to their joy, and they shall be ashamed. Then it says, a voice, check it out, a voice of noise from the city, a voice from the temple, a voice of the Lord that rendered recompense to his enemies. So this is the Most High, this Lord of hosts, voice, but where it's going. 7, before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pains came, she was delivered of a man-child. So who is this woman that's travailing? Verse 8, who have heard such a thing? Who have seen such a thing? Shall the earth, that, where that's at? Where these bodies at? All our forefathers. Akubalon, the woman. They in the woman. That's where Adam came from. So it says, before the earth be made to bring forth, it says, who have heard such a thing? Who have seen such a thing? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day, or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion, the earth, the location in the earth, travaileth, she brought forth her children. Shall I bring the birth and not cause to bring forth? Said the Lord, shall I cause to bring forth and shed the womb? Said the Lord. So let's look at that. So he says, shall I bring forth and not cause to bring birth? So we're not talking about the woman's, the womb of the woman, the matrix that he talked about in the firstborn and all that. They come through the womb of the woman. Go back to Adam. Adam ain't come through the womb of the woman. This the woman right here. This the womb. This womb right here is the original womb. The earth. We know it's Africa. That's the area, that region. So this is where Adam came from. So now all our forefathers, that's where they at. They in that womb. He died, and like he told them, you're gonna be buried in the earth, back in the earth. So this ain't the womb of the woman. It's the original woman right here. So when he bring forth all our forefathers, Ezekiel 37, they're not coming out of the womb of a woman. They're coming out of the earth, out of the original womb, the original matrix. Yeah, so something to think about. So I saw that and I thought I'd expound on it. Any comments on that?
Shalom. Yes, sir. It's just like when they did he asked for the angels to go to all four corners of the earth to bring back the minerals and things that make up the body of Adam.
Right.
So, and if I'm not mistaken, they came back and said she will not release, but then he sent them back to get the minerals and everything to make Adam up out of the earth, and she released it to them. So, yes, and if
Right.
she is the mother of earth. She is the
Original
the
woman.
birthplace, the original woman. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, shalom.
Okay.
Yes, sir. How do you spell that?
Let me go. Let me see. Let me see if I can bring that back up. Okay.
And this is the name prior to them naming Africa.
Right. This is the original name from the beginning, ancient time.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Did you know the continent Africa was not always known as Africa? What was the original name of this beautiful continent? So today, we are going to learn the ancient name and why it was changed to the present one. Africa meaning sunny. So, what was the original name of this beautiful continent and why it was changed to the present one?
Okay, it's ALKEBULAE.
I'm sorry, sir. ALBE.
ALK.
K.
Yeah, ALKEBULAN.
ULAN. Yes, sir. One more time. ALK. Go ahead, sir.
EB.
ALKEBULAN. ULAN.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, so with that being said, we're gonna go to just some need to know information, which is what we was at last night. We was dealing with Nigeria and all that. So I think it was Mike that brought up talking about Julius Lima and some of the things that he had said. So I want to. I thought this is huge right here. Let me play it right quick. Okay.
It's a beautiful day. Thank you very much for being part of this. I truly appreciate you guys. But if you're not part of the crew, I encourage you to, you know what that is. Yeah, join us. Let's make this much bigger than it is. Thank you. We love you. I know you follow us from all over the world, from the US, from the Caribbean, and all over. We love you. Okay, we truly do. Let's make this happen together. So today we're going to talk about Julius Malema. I don't know if you heard about him before. A very strong figure from South Africa. He's the president or the leader of the EFF political party. Very strong, used to work with ANC, which is the Nelson Mandela political party. Now he's created his own political party. He's been very strong with the idea of uniting Africans. His idea is basically wanting Africans to work together against the war. Let's watch what he has to say. I'm going to make a comment right after. Let's go.
Drive on the division of the African continent. Can you imagine the minerals of DRC combined with the minerals of South Africa and with a new currency based on the minerals? What we can do to the dollar if we become a United States of Africa with our minerals alone? We can collapse the dollar. We can collapse the strong pound that is based on gold, yet they don't have a gold mine. So why do you allow such things? You know, I was charged by the ANC for saying Botswana has got an American base and poses a threat to South Africa. Mbalula repeated it a few days ago. Mbalula said Botswana is a threat with an American base. He's not charged. But I was charged for that. And that one didn't want me for that.
So Botswana, which is a country, let's just put the map so people can see where Botswana is. Botswana is within South African borders. Botswana is a different country from South Africa. But Botswana holds a USA military base, which is not necessarily nice for South Africans that are cooperating right now with the Russians.
Okay.
That's a pretty.
Because I said we need to remove the government of Botswana through the people of Botswana and put a government that will dismantle that base, which is putting a threat on the whole of SADC. Because a research was conducted, the landing strip that is there in the army base of Botswana, they say it can land a fighter jet which can take less than 2 minutes if it wants to hit the Union building.
Check it out. Check it out.
So if America says we're fighting South Africa, it doesn't have to send anything from Washington. They are here already. And that's what Putin doesn't want in Ukraine. They want to do what they did here in Botswana, in Ukraine. We allowed it. And our position as the EFF is that that army base must be removed.
So let's look at this. Like I said, you tell me if I show you this, who behind this? Is the Lord host behind it or what? So like I said, we in the dark. Most people in the dark on what's going on, got all the lies. So let me bring this up. They got a huge military base in Botswana. The brother was saying that we dismantled. Can you see that?
Yes.
Oh, you can see it? Can you see that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See what you see what Botswana at? See what Botswana at, the military base?
Yes.
Okay, look at Namibia right over on the side of it, right?
Okay, I can see it.
Okay, that's where Bethlehem at. That's where Jerusalem, the real Jerusalem. They found this out. This is where Bethlehem is. They got this military base right here. Come on. This is where Bethlehem at. Namibia, Bethlehem, and Jerusalem, and all that. That's the actual real location. Like I say, I'm just showing you, do the research. But they got it's something else totally different they got going on than what we sitting here looking at, you know, with the little limited information that we have. Now I understand it. And not only that, look at Zimbabwe. So what's going on in Zimbabwe? They got that coin. They introducing this CDC, whatever that process is being introduced in Zimbabwe. They're gonna see how it's gonna unfold. But anyway, the main thing is this is our homeland, Namibia. They see what's happening, so they got a military base. Like you said, they ain't got to send nobody there, like they did with Black Wall Street. They don't have no. They ain't got to go build up no military presence to come there and do something. If it start manifesting itself, they right there. They got everything they need right there to knock it off. Don't let that frame rate. Okay. Let me see how to get out of this. Okay, yeah, I'm tripping, man. So you see it, yeah, there it is. So there it is right there. That's Bethlehem. Like I said, do research on that. Namibia. You know. Okay. So okay. So it's a whole lot more going on than what we think. Like I said, they have all our records. They know everything that's going on. So they're already poised for what they know getting ready to happen. So let me get this. A little more.
African passports, there are two languages. If many of you remember, there's English and French. My question is, what is French still doing on that passport?
Okay, and what he's saying here, that's exactly what the Russians were avoiding with Ukraine. The fact that there are so many military bases of the United States. And because Ukraine has been rapproching itself, coming closer to NATO, it would have become a threat to the Russian people. Having, a US base in Ukraine or something very similar to Ukraine, that means it's going to be very quick, to reach to Russia, very, very quick. Basically, they say that if they launch a missile from Ukraine to Moscow, it's going to take just 5 minutes. Those very fast missiles. And that's the very same case he's mentioning about Botswana in South Africa. Very interesting. I mean, they say you need to protect yourself. Questions arises here is like, how do you protect yourself by going out there in the world and creating military bases all across the world? I don't understand that. The USA has got 34 known military bases in Africa. Known. Not about the ones that are not known. Known. 34. What is that for? What is the other country that has so many military bases across the globe? I don't know. What's the purpose of that? My question is. Okay, and Malema is mentioning here, we have a military base very close here, and this was an issue. It is an issue right now, because if America decides to attack South Africa, it's going to take a few minutes. They can land whatever plane aircraft from Botswana and hit South Africa very easily. And that's the question. Why so many military bases across the board? What is the issue? What is the goal? What do you want? Are you really defending yourself, or are you trying to take over? That's the question people need to ask themselves.
If many of you remember, there's English and French. My question is, what is French still doing on that passport? Can the EFF take this as a serious matter and find an African language on that?
So South Africa has a passport, in South African passport, it is written in English and French. Yes. English and French. Now this gentleman is asking, why is there English and French still in South African passport? What's the purpose of it?
Thank you very much. I've not been paying attention on the French part. Yeah. But it's a very interesting point that we will take up with the authorities.
Okay, then he had something else to say, very interestingly. Listen to him.
What migration? Because there were no borders. Your problem is that you are saying you don't want colonialism, but you embrace the borders that were brought by colonialism.
So like I said, on this side, what they're doing over here, they're doing the same thing over there. The JC, people waking up saying that they're Hebrew Israelites, but they still incorporating JC in their life, which came from them. Same thing this brother saying that Jude Salima, that you saying that you don't want to deal with colonialism, but you still want the borders. When there wasn't no borders. Before they came, wasn't no borders. The borders is how that's how they getting paid. That's how they draining America, draining the African continent because of the borders they created. But they don't have borders. They ain't got no borders over where they at that's preventing them to go from one country to the next. But they got all of these borders over in Africa, keeping people from going from one place to the next. When that wasn't there at first. That's all colonization, and it's a mindset, just like with JC in the New Testament. Okay.
There were no borders here. There have never been borders here. And that visit Berlin conference, it's not long time ago, it's traceable. The borders started then. The people will never leave their countries to your country if their economy and their government is working. Limpopo is very poor. There is no border between Gauteng and Limpopo. But Limpopo people have not left Limpopo to come to Gauteng.
Condition.
Yet Gauteng has got more resources. Why can't they leave Limpopo and come in? If these people wanted to come here, this fence was not going to stop them.
And here he's talking about foreign African nationals who try to come to South Africa, and mostly Zimbabweans, who try to cross and come to South Africa.
They are coming to look for opportunities, and that's what we must encourage with all of you, especially the unemployed youth of South Africa. Let Africa be your playing ground. We were conditioned to think that we are superior and we are a country that is defined out of the continent. There are many countries in the continent that are doing so well. And they can use your skill, and they use dollars, by the way, some, to pay.
Okay.
Here's how to zap away every single...
Okay, any comments on that? Everybody good on that? Okay, I'm gonna open it up for some questions and comments. Anybody have any questions or comments about anything was brought up on the channel during the week, or what was talked about last night on Clubhouse?
Shalom.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm listening, but it was like when you watch movies or read books about the slaves being brought over, and they were from different tribes, and they couldn't quite communicate with each other. And when you mention about there's a border between each one of the states, it's still a divide and conquer concept. What hit me.
Right, exactly. Right. That's put in place for a reason. And that was for them to drain all the resources out, keep us disoriented, and got to condition us to think a certain way, but the whole time they're draining you of all the resources. They did it over here, did it over there, did it everywhere. That's the whole purpose of Christianity. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, everybody good? Okay, so with that being said, I was going to go into the class, which is the topic of discussion inside the class is don't have a haughty spirit. So you say, what you mean? So we're going to deal with the fact that what do haughty means, right? And it's haughty is blatantly and disdainfully proud, having or showing an attitude of superiority and contempt for people or things perceived to be inferior. So when I read that, and I looked at that, is that not white supremacy? That's white supremacy all day long, right? I'll read it again. Blatantly and disdainfully proud, having or showing an attitude of superiority and contempt for people or things perceived to be inferior. Like I said, that's white supremacy all day long. And we know, like I said, Esau the one injected that into the world from the hatred that he got for Israel in Ezekiel 35. We brought that up last night. He got a perpetual hatred for the children of Israel, right? And so we know he married into those Horites which lived on Mount Seir, which are giants, and they came from the fallen angels, Nephilim, and they would not submit to the Most High because of this spirit right here, a haughtiness. They part human and part divine, and the divine part of them, they would get different characteristics, and they felt superior than mankind, and then they had strength, they had a supernatural strength, so they would not submit to the Most High. that pride, that haughtiness they had because of what their origins was. They would not submit to the Most High's laws and his statutes and his judgment. It prevented them from doing it. So another part of that is not only do haughtiness apply to what I just read, but if the word is not applied only to people. And like I said, let this firmate, haughtiness often modifies nouns like look, gaze, glare, look, appearance, right, and attitude. So these also apply to haughtiness. They never have to even say anything. They gestures and their appearance and their attitude is all tied to it. Like I've been screaming from day one, you ain't got to do, all you got to do is get your eyes open and pay attention to what's going on. No matter what they saying or doing, but it's warning signs, it's markers there. You can. That's why when truth comes to certain people, they ain't gonna get it. You can sit there for 1,000 years and pour the truth on top of their head. They ain't gonna. It's just gonna roll off. Like I say, like water on a duck back. They ain't meant for them to get it. It's not meant for them to get it. So anyway, so what I'm gonna do right here is go into a few scriptures that talk about it, and you begin to see that the Most High got a serious problem with that, right? So let me read this first. Yeah, read what he think about haughtiness. Let me get it. Okay, says yeah, Proverbs chapter 6. Okay, Proverbs chapter 6, and let me get it. Chapter 6, starting at verse 16. Chapter 6, starting at verse 16. So it says, 7 deadly sins. It's the 7 deadly sins. These 6 things do the Lord hate, right? Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. Then 17, a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet that be swift to run to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord uh, among his brethren. Okay, so let's go back and look at that. Verse 16. These 6 things do the Lord hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look. You gotta let this ferment. And then you gotta ask yourself, is I'm doing this? Because if you think you with the Most High and you doing this, you ain't with the Most High. So he says, a proud look, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood. So when you read these things, if you get in the scriptures, you thinking like a Hebrew, then your mind ought to be popping. So when I read that shed innocent blood came, you know what I'm saying? So right there, where he came from? He's the firstborn. He's the first person that passed through the matrix of a woman. And the first thing he did was kill Abel. So, like I say, the light bulb ought to go off. So it says, the hands that shed innocent blood. Then 18, a heart that devises wicked imagination. That takes me straight to the Tower Bible. He says, this is what these people do. The minds of their imagination. When you give them one language, they all come together. This is what they do. Their imagination, right? Then it says, feet that swift to run the mischief. David, when he went up was up on the house and saw Bathsheba. thinking it's a good thing when it ain't no good thing. When you first conceived it, and then once you took that first step in that direction, you're in the red. Okay? So it says, a false witness, speaking lies, New Testament, these Edomites, Egypt, Septuagint. Okay? So it says, and he that soweth discord among his brethren. Like I said before, you know, people on here, because of this educational system, and everybody ain't, back in the day, so many people was illiterate. People ain't illiterate today. So you know damn well when you sowing discord. You know when you're sowing discord. Okay? Just like I said, you know when you headed toward mischief. Because you can cut it off. Like I said, that's the thing that people are dealing with, is that these suggestions that's coming to you, they ain't part of you. It's wicked ass spirits. You know, told us that when the giant died, they didn't come from the heaven. The spirit didn't originate from heaven. The giant died. That spirit is bound here on earth until this age is over with. So what they looking for? A body. So you ain't right. You ain't doing what's right. They can enter in. And then once they get in, that's who's making all these wicked ass suggestions to you. You thinking it's part of you. Listen to what Sigmund Freud and all them nut buckets talking about. But no, that's a wicked ass spirit that's set up, making suggestions. And you going along with it. So like I said before, you know when you headed toward mischief. You know damn well when you sowing discord. Okay? So read it again. These 16 doeth the Lord hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet that be swift to run into mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among his brethren. So you say, well, what's going on? So let's look at that, because I mean I'm a prime example of it. So you looking for blessings, right? And from the Most High, you're praying for blessings of the Most High. This is how you cut them off, right here. So when you just say, for instance, you're in a situation and you being suggestions being made, you go in a direction to go and do something wicked, and then you refuse. That's how you bring the blessing. But the minute you head toward that mischief and that suggestion that was given to you, you're cutting off the blessing. So you say, what you talking about? Let's look at it. And this are elementary. Well, we've been hoodwinked. So let's look at I lost my train of thought. Okay, we come back. So I'm gonna start reading some things that's dealing with haughtiness. The root of all this that I'm talking about is haughtiness, which is, I told you what it was, is thinking that you above everybody else and you're more superior than everybody else. You know, we see it's manifested wholesale in white supremacy, but you got to ask yourself, are you doing that? Okay, so let's look at what David said. Okay, let me get it. You gotta give me a minute. Let this stuff go down. Well, I'm gonna read Isaiah 24. Well, we just talked about the earth, Most High formed the earth. The earth is the woman, right? So let's look at it. It says, let me get it. Yeah, Isaiah 24:4. So we're just gonna be bouncing through these precepts, just tied to haughtiness, which is damning. Okay, it's 24:4. It says, the earth mourneth and faded away. The world languages and faded away. The haughty people of the earth do language. So all what we see, the deterioration of the planet, is these wicked ass haughty people, prideful ass people. It's destroying the Most High woman. They want to give the Most High woman where the earth is his woman. And haughtiness. Haughtiness is what brought the flood. Haughtiness is what got our ass kicked out of the land of Israel. Okay? So let's look at it. Keep going. So you say scoffer. You hear it out. You hear it a lot in the scriptures. So, you know, what is scoffer? What is a scoffer? A haughty man who acts with arrogance and pride. That's what scoffer is. You know, I don't know about nobody else, but that ain't the interpretation I had coming up. What a scoffer was. That's what a scoffer is. A haughty man who acts with arrogance and pride. Okay? Yeah, I'm in Proverbs. I think this is what David had to say about haughtiness. Okay? Proverbs 21 says, get it? 21 and okay, I have to read the whole thing. 21, let's see. Okay, the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. This Proverbs 21. The king's heart is in the hands of the Lord, and as the rivers of the waters, he turn it whatsoever he will. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes. They go to imagination. But the Lord ponders the hearts. To do justice and judgment is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. So let's go back to verse 1. And like I said, I'm going to apply events in our history to this. It says, the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whatsoever he will. So, prime example. I keep saying that Nebuchadnezzar was wicked as hell, but the Most High had him doing what he wanted. He had his heart. Cyrus is wicked as hell, but he used Cyrus to deliver the Israelites out of Egypt. We see how he finagled the Pharaoh. It says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As a river of water, he turneth it whatsoever way he will. Verse 4, a high look, a proud heart, and the plowing of the wicked is seen. The thoughts of a diligent tend only to plenteousness, but of everyone that is hasty only to want. The getting of treasures by a lying tongue is a vanity tossed to and fro of them that seek death. The robbery of the wicked shall destroy them, because they refuse to do judgment. The way of man is forward and strange, but as for the pure, his work is right. It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house. The soul of the wicked desires evil. His neighbor findeth no favor in his eyes. When the scorner is punished, the simple is made wise. And when the wise is instructed, he receives knowledge. The righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked, but God overthrows the wicked for their wickedness. Whosoever stoppeth his ears at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard. A gift in a secret pacifies anger, and a reward in the bosom of strong wrath. It is joy to the just to do judgment, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. He that loveth pleasure shall be a poor man, and he that loveth wine and oil shall not be rich. The wicked shall be ransomed for the righteous, and the transgressor for the upright. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. Okay, there is treasure to be desired in all in the dwelling of the wise, but the foolish man spreadeth it up. So I stop right there. But so you kind of get the point. It's like I said, the catalyst to all this is a proud spirit, haughty spirit. That's what pride is. So I mean that's what haughtiness is. So okay, let me see where else I want to go. Yeah, Isaiah chapter 3, right? So we done read this before, but you know it's in a different context. So I'm in Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16. Moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, a bigger light shined on it now. Daughters of Zion are haughty, walk with stretched forth necks, Wu-Tang eyes, walking and mincing as they go, making a tingling with their feet. Therefore, the Lord will smite with the scab of the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. In that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tingling ornaments about their feet, and their coils, and their round tires like the moon, the chains, and the bracelets, and the mufflers, the bonnets, the ornaments of the legs, and the headband, and the tablets, and the earrings, and the rings, and the nose jewels, and the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles, and the whipping pins, and the crisping pins, and the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils. And it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be stench, and instead of a girdle, a rent, and instead of a well-set hair, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, and a burning instead of beauty. The men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she shall be desolate, and shall sit on the ground. So we see all this came about because of haughtiness. And so, like I said before, I read where he says the 16th that the most I hate. And so, like I said before, you understand, you know when you're being haughty. So if you're being haughty and then you're praying for blessings, you ain't gonna receive the blessing. You're cutting it off. These are things the most I hate. You seeking knowledge and haughty. Yeah, the knowledge limited. Like I said, it's rolling off you like water on a duck back. So let's go back. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 right quick, because this is really tied to. Notice I said Deuteronomy 28. So I'm in Deuteronomy 28, right? And look at what it say. Like I said about the blessings, I'm in Deuteronomy 28, verse 1. It said this is 14 verses dealing with how we receive blessings from the Lord. It says, "It shall come to pass if thou," see that, "if thou will hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God," right, "and observe and do all his commandments which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God," see this, "will set thee on high above all the nations of the earth." Remember, it's the Lord thy God that the 7 things that he hates. Haughtiness is one of them. "And all these blessings shall come upon thee and overtake thee. And if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, the increase of thy kine, and the flocks in thy and thy sheep. Blessed shall be the basket in thy store. Blessed shall thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shall thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. And thou shalt come out against them one way, and they shall flee before thee 7 ways. The Lord shall command the blessings upon thee in thy storehouses, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. So let's look at that. We just read when I started out this class we just went to and read in Genesis when it said that the Lord, Psalms, he commanded. He said, let there be light. He commanded it. So we're talking to somebody. So we see right here, look at this, verse 8. The Lord shall command the blessings upon thee. So it's when you line up, he command these blessings. So we see what he done in the beginning. He commanded the sun and the moon come forth. So you think that when he commanded the blessings, they ain't coming? So he got the blessings on the yo-yo string. When you ain't doing this right here, these blessings ain't coming. That's the predicament we in. So like I said before, you know from the mind that he gave us, you know when you're going advancing toward wickedness, you know when you're being deceitful, you know when you sowing discord, ain't no blessings come out of there. That's what I was talking about the other day. It's just like spring, summer, winter, and fall. Before you make a move, you gotta know its circumstances too. It's automatic. So 10, I'm gonna go down to 10. And the people of the earth shall see that thou art, see that? The people of the earth shall see that thou art called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of thee. So dealing with all these things and being righteous, put fear in them. So they see it. 11. And the Lord shall make thee plenteous in goods, and in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, and in the land which the Lord thy God swore unto thy fathers to give thee, right? And the Lord shall open unto thee his good treasure, the heavens, to give the rain unto thy land in the season, and to bless all the works of thy hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow, and the Lord shall make thee the head, not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, right? And thou shalt be beneath, shall not be beneath. If thou hearken unto the commands, if thou hearken unto the commands of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day to observe and to do them, and thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day to the right hand or to the left, or go after any other God to serve them. So now, like I said, with this understanding and this haughtiness, that's what got us over here. When we see none of these blessings ain't being commanded on us because of that one thing, what happened? So let's look at it. Let's get an example. So David, you say that I read it. Let me read it again. The definition of haughtiness. Let me read it one more time. So it says blatantly and disdainfully proud, having or showing an attitude of superiority and contempt. Well, we see that right now. After all the beat down we got, we still see this, right? And a lot of it is, like I said before, it's in passing, it's invasive. You're not looking at the mechanics. Like I said, it's things being suggested to you from an outside source, but you don't understand it, and then you're going quickly to go do it, cutting off the blessing. So he says, blatantly and disdainfully proud, having or showing an attitude of superiority and contempt for people or things perceive that you inferior, that's inferior to you. Okay, so let's look at it. So let's look at 2 Samuel 22. Man, got so much wrote down. Sideboard. Anybody got a comment?
Yeah.
What you got? Say that again. Somebody got to mute their mic. What you say? Somebody got to mute their mic.
Yes.
Yeah, mute your mic, Gladys. Hello. Okay. Somebody say something? Okay. Yeah, so I'm in 2 Samuel 22 and 28. We're going somewhere with this. 2 Samuel. Okay. Check it out. 2 Samuel 22, 28. So it says, and the afflicted people thou wilt serve, but their eyes are upon the haughty, that may bring them down. So he says, you know, he brought them into the land of rescued them. They was afflicted on 13 different occasions. They went in captivity, brought them out. As soon as they came out, they ran head first toward these haughty people, tied into them. Like I was saying last night, you assuming that you got you worried about a man of God or a woman of God, just searching him out and trying to line yourself up with him, was gonna worry about what you think. You know what I'm saying? So that's a haughty person. So you see, and then for you to fall for it though, is the trick. Why would you give damn about what somebody think about something when you know where you know that you with the Lord, and you know that you line yourself up according to what his word says? Why would you worry about what the hell they doing? And that's what got us over here. A prime example of that was a lot of people they read over it was Hezekiah. Right, yeah, that's where I was going. I knew I'd come back to me. So Hezekiah, which is most I got when you talk about a haughty spirit, has David's, you know, the seed royal, which is David's lineage. To be a son of David, you know, you can easily get it lifted up, a haughty, because you from David's lineage. And so all the kings that's on the throne, that sit on the throne in Israel, was out of David's lineage. So it was of the utmost importance that they had to guard against that, getting that spirit. Now we noticed that 95% of them, it overtook them. It even overtook Solomon. Solomon got beside himself. After he received all the blessings and all that, and they got all this gold and all that, they became haughty and lifted up. So let's look at an example of it. Isaiah right quick. Okay, let me get it. Isaiah chapter 1. So Isaiah chapter 1 says, the vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Jotham. Look at this, Uzi, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. And so them three, Uzi, Jotham, and Ahaz, wicked as hell. Everybody, we know Ahaz is wicked as hell, but his daddy, Jotham, was wicked as hell, and Uzi too. So what is going on with them? They high and lifted up because they from David lineage. Most of them, because of David, they got all this wealth and all this stuff flowing to them. They beside themselves. They haughty. Okay, so let's look at that. So with that being said, let's look at what was commanded by the Lord. Like I said, these things are going over a lot of people's head, and it's not being understood. So first of all, Deuteronomy. You keep hearing about the book of the law, the book of the law, the book of the law. That's Deuteronomy. So what happened with the book of the law? It was in the ark. He told them to put a copy of the book of the law in the ark. That's where the blessings coming from. I just read. When you talk into the words that's in the book of the law, and you hearken to them words, all those blessings in Deuteronomy 28, the first 14 verses, it had no other choice. Just like I said, just like spring, summer, and winter and fall. If you lined up, it's coming. You ain't got to do nothing. We didn't do that. We got away from that. But anyway, so we're gonna go to let me get it. Yeah, let me read this right before I go there. I mentioned Hezekiah and how he got lifted up, right? And a lot of people don't see it. So I'm gonna read that first. Then I go there. Okay, 2 Kings chapter 20. Right, and that's like I said, people read right over this stuff, but it's right there. It's like I said, it's one-on-one. If you do this, this is gonna happen. If you do that, that gonna happen. So it says, verse chapter 20. It says, and Hezekiah's sickness and recovery. In those days was Hezekiah. We hear about this, but we don't know the ramifications of it. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and the prophet Isaiah, the son of Amos, came to him and said unto him, thus said the Lord, set thy house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. Then he turned his face to the wall and prayed unto the Lord, saying, I beseech thee, O Lord, remember now how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. That's the book of the law. And Hezekiah wept sore. And it came to pass afterwards, Isaiah was gone out into the middle of the court, that the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, turn again and tell Hezekiah that the captain of my people, thus said the Lord, the God of let me see, captain of the people, thus said the Lord, the God of David. You see that? The God of David, thy father, I have heard thy prayer. I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will heal thee. On the third day thou shalt go up into the house of the Lord, and I will add unto thee, unto thy days, 15 years, and I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city for my own sake and for my servant David's sake. And Isaiah said, take a lump of figs, and they took and laid it on the boils, and he recovered. And Hezekiah said unto Isaiah, what shall be the sign that the Lord will heal me, that I shall go up into the house of the Lord the third day? And Isaiah said, this sign shall I have of the Lord, that the Lord will do the thing that he has spoken. Shall the shadow go forward 10 degrees or go back 10 degrees? And Hezekiah answered, it is a light thing that the shadow go down 10 degrees, nay, but let the shadow return backwards 10 degrees. And Isaiah the prophet cried unto the Lord, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backwards, by which it had gone down in the dial of Ahaz, right? So here we go right here. This is where the Haughtyness came in. And he just saved him, gave him 15 years, right? And at that time, here we go. Here go the haughty men. I said, I healed you, the Israelites, from their affliction, but they ran toward, the haughty men. So verse 12, and at that time, Balaam, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and presents unto Hezekiah, for he had heard that Hezekiah had been sick. And Hezekiah hearkened, see that? He ran right to him after Most High healed him. And Hezekiah hearkened unto them and showed them, here go the pride, and showed them all the house of his precious things, the silver and the gold and the spices and the precious ornaments, and all the house of his armor, and all that was found in his treasures. There was nothing in his house, nor in his dominion, that Hezekiah showed them or not. Now this is why the Babylonians came. Everything we read about the Babylonians, this is why they came. It's just like you got a safe. You bring some nut bugging people over your house, Then you go to showing them everything in your house, open your safe up and showing them money and the gold, the jewels you got in your safe. Hell, they coming back. So he did all, he showed them all this. Says then came Isaiah, the prophet under King Hezekiah. So he got a Haughthy spirit right here, and said unto him, what said these men? And from whence came they unto thee? And Hezekiah said, they are come from a far country, from Babylon. It's the first mention of Babylon right here. And he said, what have they seen in thine house? And Hezekiah answered, all the things that are in mine house have they seen. There is nothing among my treasures that I have not showed them. That's this Haughthy spirit talking. And Isaiah said unto Hezekiah, hear the word of the Lord. See, he done seen. Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house and that which is thy fathers have laid up in store unto thee this day shall it be carried into Babylon. Nothing shall be left, said the Lord. And of thy son, here you go, and of thy sons that shall issue from thee, which thou shalt begot, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. So we went over this before. So who was the eunuch in the Babylon? Daniel. So Daniel out of David's lineage. It's a prophecy. Like I say, you reading over, but Hezekiah got beside himself and started boasting about everything he had and showed it to the Babylonians. That's what brought them to Jerusalem. And just like Isaiah said, they took Daniel was one of the part of that first group that was taken to Babylon. And he's out of like I said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, all from the royal seed line. And they made Daniel eunuch. It was prophesied right here. This is what they don't want you to know. But like I said, everything that happened that transpired, and that was Hezekiah triggered. That's what brought the Babylonians there. His pride and haughtiness. So let's look at that right quick. So let me get it in a minute. Let me get it. Okay. Give me 1 minute. I gotta find this verse. Okay. Okay, yeah, here you go. Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking it's in Second Chronicles. This is a commandment that was given to the Israelites that most people don't know nothing about. So it's let me get it. Chapter 17. Okay. Place. See. So I'm in Nehemiah chapter 8, verse 1. This pertains to the book of the law. I'm trying to find another verse, but it's eluding me. It's Nehemiah. Okay, and verse 8. Chapter 8, verse 1. Right? And it says, Ezra reads and explains the law, right? So what is he talking about? And all the people gathered to, themselves together as one man into the streets that was before the water gate. And they spake unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded them. So the book of the law of Moses, Deuteronomy. So this after they was in Babylon in captivity, they came back and Ezra came out with the book of the law. And I was telling you earlier that he put that book of the law was commanded, was commanded to Moses to put it in the ark. But I got another scripture I'm trying to find. I'm gonna find it. Is it was also given a copy of the book of the law. The book of Deuteronomy was also supposed to be with the king at all times. You're supposed to constantly have it by him and reading it, because by him reading it, it's gonna cause them not to err. It's gonna cause them not to get that spirit of haughtiness. But we know that in second let me see, chapter 22, Second Chronicles 22. Let's look at that right here. Second Chronicles chapter 22. 22 and 8. Okay. Oh, I wonder. Second Kings. Indeed. Second Kings 22 and 8. Yeah, so I'm in Second Chronicles 22 and 8. It says, and Hilkiah the high priest said unto Stephan the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Lord. And Hilkiah gave the book to Stephan, and he read it. And Stephan the scribe came to the king and brought the king word again and said, thy servants have gathered the money that was found in the house of the Lord, and I have delivered it into the hands of them that do the work, and I have the overnight of the, and I have oversight over the house of the Lord. So they didn't have the Deuteronomy. The king didn't have Deuteronomy with him. They had cast it off. So he said, what are you talking about? Deuteronomy 28. What I read in the beginning. The blessings from verses 1 to 14. The only way to receive the blessings and be blessed is to have that book of the law, Deuteronomy. And Hezekiah in 2 Kings 22, during the time of Josiah, they had the book down in the bottom of the temple, gathering dust. The high priest found it. So now you see why all the drama and why the scriptures say this king would come on the throne and he did that which was wicked in the sight of the Lord. You see it over and over again. They don't even have the book of the law. That was commanded to them that they write a copy for the king. And he gonna have it by his side at all times. He gotta meditate on it and read it day and night. But they ain't doing that. They didn't cast it off. So the spirit of haughtiness came in. That's what it is. That's what Israel's problem is. We see it. It came upon Solomon. We see it came upon Hezekiah. And even with Josiah, all that he done. At the end, he went out to meet this king on the Euphrates, and the man told him, the Lord of hosts told me to tell you not to meddle in this. But Josiah didn't hear him. He was he got that spirit of haughtiness on him. Thought he was above, this a man from the east. He figured that he can't know nothing about the God of Israel. So he didn't hear what he said. He told him, your God told me to tell you not to meddle in this. It's his business. But he ain't hear it. Right? And it brought it's the repercussions to that. Okay. Yeah. So let me go to 2 Kings 22 and 11. See what they say. Yeah, 22 and 11 says, and it came to pass when the king had heard the words of the book of the law, that he rent his clothes. And the king commanded Hilkiah the priest, and Achan the son of Stephan, and Akbar the son of Micaiah, and Stephan the scribe, and Asha the servant of the king, saying, Go ye, inquire of the Lord for me, and for the people, and for all Judah, concerning the words of this book that is found. For great is the wrath of the Lord that is kindled against us, because our fathers have not hearkened unto the words of this book, to do according to all that which is written concerning us. So that's our problem. So now we go back to we look our predicament now. Most High, he told us he's going to rejoice over us to cause us not to know and to be a confusion of faith. So he brought these Gentiles and these Edomites to write the New Testament. Because just like they not dealing with it, we ain't dealing with it. And then we see how a time, like I said, a Moab, a time came for him to bring it back out. That's where we at now. It's coming back out again, just like they found it right here. It's time for us to find it. We ain't had it. So you say, what are you talking about? Well, that right, this understanding right here killed JC in itself. How is he taking away the book of the law from us, but he sent JC? Don't make no sense. And so we see the curses from 15 to 68. They on us, not the blessings. The only way to get the blessings is the dealing with the book of the law. And part of that is, like I was saying last night, we had clean animals to sacrifice to him. That's part of the process. He took all that away. When Solomon came in contact with the Lord, and David and Abraham, they ran quickly when they made sacrifices. So we get those same revelations now. We don't have shit to go make those sacrifices. It's a setup. It's all been set up to a time appointed. Okay. So anybody got any comments or questions?
Shalom. So by
Comments
you
or
saying,
questions?
Shalom, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, by you saying that, um, I think is the fear of the Creator is not there. No one fears Him. No one fears the Creator like they did in BC. We have
Right.
grace now, which the New Testament taught about grace as we were coming up, and our forefathers learned grace is over the law. Uh, in repentance, and not, you can do what you do as long as you, like they say, repent. But that's not the case, like the young lady said earlier, this morning in the broadcast when she was speaking. That's right. We don't, the amount of fear that the Creator, that we should have for our lives and for, we don't have it, because
Exactly.
obviously we can turn around and hurt our brother, hurt our sister, use the words, or, and then jump on ship with the New Testament. There's no fear
Right.
in that mount. That's all I have to say.
Right. Exactly. Right. Like I said, it goes all of it turn right back to and, we fumbling with it. That word haughtiness. That's our problem. Okay. Yeah. Right. Let me get this right quick. Yeah. I wrote that verse down, and then I don't know where I wrote it down. At. I thought I wrote it on the paper, but let me see. Deuteronomy 17. Yeah, that's it. I think it's Deuteronomy 17 and 7. 17. Yeah, here you go. So this is when it was commanded to them when they wanted a king, they required of a king. So he told them, "We're gonna give them a king, but here go the stipulations." I'm in Deuteronomy 17 and 14. When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, and shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will set a king over me. Let like as all the nations that are about me. So here we go again. I got to shine a light on this. I was showing you in Deuteronomy 28 how the Most High he see the nation of Israel as one man. They all them 12 boys came from Jacob. So that's why when he's dealing with Israel, he's dealing with him in the singular form. That's how they got over on us with Deuteronomy 53 and inserted JC in there because it's saying him. And they're saying that him is JC. But look right here in verse 14. Israel, the nation of Israel wanted a king over them. So let's look at the wording. In 14, when thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God have given thee. See that? Thee. He's talking to the whole nation of Israel, but he's using thee. And shall possess it, and shall dwell therein, and shall say, I will sit a king over me. See that? Singular. The me is the nation of Israel. Just like the him in Isaiah 53 is the nation of Israel. He ain't talking about no one man. So anyway, verse 15, thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shall thou set king over thee, and thou mayest not set a stranger over thee, which is not of thy brother. But he shall not multiply. Check it out. Like I said, when you read this, you just can see what's going on. But he shall not multiply horses to himself. Solomon, that's what Solomon did. That's a sign of alternance. He multiplied horses to himself, nor caused the people to return to Egypt. We know that on 2-3 occasions, sons of David, people went to Egypt. He told them, I delivered you from Egypt. You don't need to be in Egypt no more. So to the end, they shall multiply horses, for as much as the Lord hath said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. Neither, so that's what Solomon got the horses from too, Egypt. Neither shall he multiply wives. Solomon did this to himself, that his heart turn not away. So to get all these women, gonna turn his heart from him. He's gonna get the high and lifted up. Says that his heart turn not away. Neither shall he greatly multiply himself silver and gold. Solomon had all that. All the sons of David. They had this. Even the ones that wasn't even on the throne. He says, and it shall be when he sitteth upon the throne of his kingdom, that he shall write him a copy of the law in this book out of that which is before the priest and the Levites. See that? They go to the arm and they go the whole order. So the king got to have this book, this Deuteronomy, with him at all times. And we just saw that they found it in the bottom of the temple and brought it up to Josiah. And when Josiah saw it, he rent his clothes. It's because of this right here. They're supposed to have, from time they become king, even when they're being raised, they got to have this book of the law they're dealing with. Right? It says, and it shall be with him, and he shall read therein all the days of his life, that he may learn to fear the Lord. So by reading this book of the law, he learned to fear the Lord his God, and to keep all his words of this law and these statutes to do them, that his heart be not lifted up, his haughtiness, lifted up above his brethren, and that he turn not aside from the commandments to the right hand or to the left, to the end that he may prolong his days in his kingdom, he and his children in the midst of Israel. So now we see this is where the drama came from, kings of Israel, right here. If there's something, so let me read this right here, right quick. What David had to say about that. Okay, let me get it. Psalm 131. 131. It says, Lord, my heart is not haughty. It's David talking. Lord, my heart is not haughty, nor my eyes lofty. Neither do I exercise myself in great matters or in times of high, in things too high for me. Surely I have behaved and quieted myself. See that? That's what I'm saying. So he kept himself from running like he did in the beginning when he saw Bathsheba. He ran to mischief. He says, surely I have behaved and quieted myself as a child that is weaned of his mother. My soul is even as a weaned child. Let Israel hope in the Lord from henceforth and forever. Okay. So, like I said, anybody have any comments? I want to read one more thing before I close out. And like I said, uh, it should trigger something. So let me get it. Please. Give me 1 minute. Anybody got any comments? Let's get it right quick. We'll close out. This is doozy right here. Come on now. Okay.
Shalom.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You know, I've been reading Proverbs all my life, David, everything that you went through. But when
Right.
you took from that definition and weave all of that in and actually gave examples of, David and this Hezekiah. So I just really
Right.
appreciated it. It was like, whoa, okay. So thank you. Real
Hey,
good.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Here go the words I had right here. So this tied to too. This should ring a bell. So these are synonyms of the word haughty, right? Arrogant, cavalier, high-minded, Hofferton, imperious, lordly, peremptuous, presumptuous, self-assertive, supercilious, top loftical, assumptive, chesty, high hat, hawkish, important, masterful, pompous, pretentious, sniffy, superior, uppish, uppity, top lofty, stiff-necked, self-asserting, presuming, overwhelming, lofty, haughty, high fulsome, high and mighty, bumptuous. So you got all that to, you got to deal with all that. You got to ask yourself, this is how you can easily get, you can be in the outer graces of the Most High. I don't even know. And this was the enemy Esau constantly pushing on us. So this, you out of the graces of the Most High. We just read where he told you the things that he had a problem with. So you can't, you know what I'm saying? You want a hot dog, but you put the chili on the bun, but you don't put the hot dog on there. It ain't gonna work. Same way in Deuteronomy 28, the curses. You can't receive the blessings if you got this, if you're dealing with this. You ain't gonna receive the blessing. It's dealing with what he's go ahead.
No, I was gonna say shalom. And what you went through today And I could see where in the New Testament they came up with the Beatitudes. So, like, you're taking what already written, but I wanted to make that point.
Oh yeah, right. They encouraging you to sin. Ain't that something? Yeah. So anybody else got anything before we go? Okay.
Shalom. Just that I enjoy the class. It makes it more visual to me how we went through the scriptures and actually seeing instead of just hearing the word, hearing it being read and explained the way you explained it, brought us to verse after verse. I thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. I'm gonna say shalom. I'll see everybody this evening. So we can close out Shabbat at 6 o'clock. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.